Well, firstly, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen of the press, for your interest in the fate of the Rohingya people of Myanmar. As you know, the PGPF, the Perdana Global Peace Foundation, has called once before a meeting on the Rohingya problem. Since then, matters have become worse with the discovery of human trafficking and the murder of many of these Rohingya migrants, where their graves have been found in southern Thailand as well as in Malaysia, northern Malaysia. We think that this has reached a stage that we cannot just ignore and hope that it will go away. Something needs to be done. And this meeting, International Conference on the Plight of the Rohingya, Part 2, Crime Against Humanity, has had a long discussion, heard a lot of facts, and above all, seen a lot of pictures, video clips showing the terrible fate of the Rohingya people in Myanmar. As a result of attacks against the Rohingyas, who are Muslims, by these Buddhist groups. Buddhists are not always like that. They are very peace-loving people. They don't kill people, but for some reason which we cannot understand, it is the Buddhists who have committed this very serious crime. And although we have every respect for people of the Buddhist faith, we cannot help but bring to the attention of the world the atrocities committed by the Myanmar Buddhists. And so this meeting ended with a resolution which I think will be passed to all of you. I wouldn't read the resolution, but basically it puts the blame squarely on the shoulders of Myanmar and its government. Obviously, they did nothing, or they did not prevent these crimes from being committed, even in front of their security forces. Therefore, Myanmar is responsible. But this internal problem of Myanmar has now become an international problem, because as a result of the atrocities committed against the Rohingyas, they have had to flee their country, and they had hoped to be able to be resettled in some other countries. Unfortunately, they were fleeing in leaky boats which often capsize, and many of them have died. Then there are others who have probably paid fees to migrant traffickers, and these people, maybe for reasons of not being paid, they have killed these migrants. This is a thing that is not seen anywhere else. People taking advantage of the sufferings of these people in order to make money for themselves. So it has now become an international issue, because it involves now other countries, not just Myanmar. It involves now Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand. And eventually, of course, these people who migrated need to be resettled. As you know, when the Vietnamese people left Vietnam after the war, many of them came to Malaysia. We accommodated them on Bido Island, and they were subsequently resettled in third countries. And in the third countries, they have contributed much to the prosperity and the economy of these third countries. So we do hope that although Malaysia may be the first country of refuge, that eventually these people will be resettled in other countries. But better still, they must go back, be allowed to go back to their country, to Rakhine State, because they are Rohingyas, and they have been resident in Myanmar since a long time ago. They are actually, rightfully, they are citizens of Myanmar. But unfortunately, the Myanmar government seems to object even to the name Rohingya for them. Well, perhaps they should be called Burmese people or Myanmar people or Myanmarese people. But they take the view that these are not their people. You can't say these are not their people because these people have been living there all this while. In other countries in Southeast Asia, there have been migrants who have settled and they have been accepted by the local people. They have become citizens of countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, and even in Vietnam. None has been expelled. Certainly none has been cruelly treated as we find in Myanmar. So there is a need for Myanmar to change its policy and accept these people back as Myanmar people. That is the right thing that should be done. And towards this end, the memorandum urges the countries of Southeast Asia, the organizations, international organizations concerned with human rights, etc., the United Nations and OIC and other organizations to apply pressure through the United Nations and on Myanmar to re-accept these people who are actually people from Myanmar. They have to apply some pressure because obviously Myanmar is so arrogant as to say that if the word Rohingya is used, they are not going to attend any conference. But the Rohingya people are there. If they want to use the word Rohingya, call them Burmese people or Myanmar people. This is a very unfortunate thing. It happens in our region, and we have to take a very serious view of it. And I hope that the press will help to publicize the atrocities committed. We are always reluctant to show the horrors of war, so much so that people think of war as a glorious event. But this is not a glorious event. You see on the video clip this morning, horrible sights. This should be publicized so that people will know exactly what the Myanmar people had done to people who have been living in Myanmar for hundreds of years.